What's up, Mortgage Coach community? I am sitting down with Jacob Gibbs, who runs, I don't know, wears a lot of hats at Mortgage Coach. What's up, Jacob?
Hey, Dave. Thanks for having me on the call today. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no, appreciate you, brother, and everything you do for Mortgage Coach. If you've listened to training videos, you've probably heard Jacob's voice many a times. He helps lead the support department, the development department, and when it comes to rolling out new features of Mortgage Coach, Jacob, you're pretty involved in that, right?
Absolutely. Definitely in charge of a lot of the dev team's assignments, making sure that the releases go out, help out with the QA. So kind of a little bit of everything, but certainly user feedback is also in my realm. So it's kind of along the topic of what we're discussing today.
Yeah, everything that touches technology at Mortgage Coach, Jacob is making it happen. So guys, many of you noticed hitting Monday morning, we had a new look and feel of the total cost analysis from a website. So if you looked at it from a laptop, if your client looked at it from a laptop, I mean, it was a new look and feel. And then we had a whole host of other upgrades and improvements. We're not going to unpack all of the upgrades and improvements in this particular conversation because I just wanted to get a quick hit out why we did it. And so I'm going to start with my why. Jacob's going to share his why, and then we're going to talk about some of the feedback you guys have given us and tell you what we're going to do to upgrade it. So from my position, Joe Patur, the president of our company and the visionary at Mortgage Coach, technology visionary, he wanted to make sure that we're always at the cutting edge so that the presentations, whether it's a mobile experience, whether it's a desktop position, it's the best of the best. And not just in the mortgage industry, in any industry. Like when you look at a Mortgage Coach total cost analysis, if an Amazon developer saw it, they'd be like, oh my God, this is incredible tech. If a Google developer, like the best tech companies in America, love the Mortgage Coach total cost analysis. So it's always about being on the cutting edge. It's always about delivering the best multi-device experience. And they felt it was time for a refresh. There were just how the old one looked on a mobile device. The screens didn't pop as much. So I know some of you have commented that, I like the white versus the dark. Well, our design team believes that it looks better and it provides more clarity and contrast with the way it looks and feels. And then there was also the one that I've had call it controversial feedback. We took away more information and we put a little round ellipsis in there. Just so you know, the why behind that is it's a progressive, modern approach. And we want to turn average loan officers into modern mortgage professional, and it's a more modern design. That said, we've heard your feedback. You guys have said that the verbal cues, not having that more information, is not helpful when it comes to giving the verbal cue when they're using the live experience. And so, Jacob, I'll hand it to you. What was the why we did? And then tell everybody what we're thinking about doing in terms of adjusting things.
Sure. Thanks, Dave. So the why, just from a technical perspective, there's certain standards that you have to follow on every website. They're called WCAG standards, and they're basically so that visually impaired or otherwise impaired can still view the presentations, can still hover over things to find out what information is. And one of those guidelines is the contrast guidelines. So we had to adjust things like the background colors on the graphs to make sure that the graphs themselves popped out a little bit more, and they're always going to be visible. And that they conform to those guidelines. And when it comes to some of the other items here, you'll notice that if you haven't seen the release notes yet, you can edit the welcome message now. So we'll show off the report in just a moment. But not only can you do that, but it'll give you a little bit more control over the way the look and the feel of the presentation works. And then when it comes down to the ellipsis, like Dave was saying, it really is the modern key that people expect to be able to click when they want more info about something. But we heard your feedback. So we understand that many of you have videos out there that you've done in the past that are on live reports right now that reference a more info button. So we understand that challenge. We've actually have been working on the dev side around the clock since we started getting this feedback to determine a better approach for this. We are going to be bringing back the text for the more info, but the graphics is going to look slightly different. So we're going to dance the line between the modernization and the backwards compatibility. But we definitely want to make sure that everybody has a comfort level with being able to talk about the presentation, with being able to give that verbal cue to say, click on the more info section. So that's definitely in the works right now. We should have something published within the next couple of days here that will be an upgrade to the features you're seeing right now in the live presentation.
So one thing I wanted to get out to everybody, guys, we listen to you. I mean, every positive feature that we get feedback from you, and we listen to it and we adopt it. And so thank you for people who have texted me, called me. Jeremy Forcier, Sean Herrero brought it up on a webinar today. Thanks for the feedback. That's how we get better. So Jacob, let's show it to him real quick, just so we can show them what it looks like, speak to what changes we're going to make. Also, I want to remind you guys, we added a lot of new features to Mortgage Coach. And Jacob, you can tell everybody where they can get those notes. And I do believe we messaged a lot of people, like, how did we already inform everybody about the updates?
The updates went out through release notes messaging via email. We also put it through a rate watch alert just to let everybody know. And then, of course, we launch it in our support center. So just so you guys know where you can find the notes, when you are in Advice Engine, if you click Help, that is going to take you over to our support center. And then inside our support center, there's an area called Resources. So here, let's go back to the main area in the support center. There's a button here called Resources down at the bottom. And when you click on there, one of the categories inside Resources is Release Notes. And there's our November 2020 major release. And when you click on that, you'll see just kind of a high-level overview of some of the new features and functionalities. And then there's a full release notes download. And when you click on that, you'll actually get a PDF that goes through every single step of what we released. You've got some video components in here that'll show you exactly what it does and how it operates. But definitely make sure to take advantage of this. If you haven't seen the release notes yet, check them out. There's a lot of really cool features in here that I think you're going to love.
And guys, I mean, if you want to be the modern mortgage professional, you want to be the most efficient and effective professional you can, schedule 15 minutes and read these, 30 minutes and watch the videos. And now you'll know how to use this superpower of the Advice Engine at the highest level, because we added a lot of new features to it. And if you did not get the email, that means you might be going into a spam filter. So make sure that you approve us so you get our emails. And you get that. And then if you have not downloaded the Rate Watch app, because we're always giving you day-to-day, daily information in there and alerts in there. And anytime we roll out new features, we always put those in Rate Watch. So if you don't have Rate Watch, you should have it. So Jacob, let's look at the new layout. Let's just speak to this visually and then tell folks what adjustments are going to happen soon.
Excellent. All right. Thanks, Dave. So this is the presentation as it stands today. You'll notice that a lot of the same areas that you're used to seeing up at the top are still there. You still have your Apply Now or Start Now button, depending on what you called it. You still have the disclosure area where you can get back to your main disclosures. And you have your menu items where you can translate this if you've got translation enabled, print this out, share it, or even switch the view if you wanted to go to a vertical view. Or if you're on a laptop, for instance, and it starts in vertical, you can always switch it to be landscape. So just kind of keep that in mind. If you're used to seeing one particular layout, you can always control the way that looks on your screen by hitting the switch view button. Now, some of the other notables that we've done with this presentation is we moved all the LO contact information into one card. It used to be kind of strewn across the top. It was a little bit disjointed. So we figured, you know what, let's modernize it, make it look like a contact card. So you'll see that now you've got a higher resolution image here. So you can upload a slightly higher resolution photo here if you want to. You've got your logo that's going to show your equal housing. You'll still have your contact information like you normally would, your phone numbers and so forth, and emails will be listed here. But there's some new call out buttons in here that will actually trigger a phone call if you've got a soft phone, or it'll trigger a text. So if you're on a Mac, this will actually open up Mac messages. If you're opening this on a mobile device, which is one of the main reasons we made a lot of these changes, these call out buttons will actually trigger a call, trigger an SMS, they'll trigger an email direct from your phone. So kind of keep this in mind. These are all clickable functionalities. So as you talk with your borrowers during your videos, make sure to let them know that they can click on these.
So guys, making it more engaging, more interactive for your customer. So it really becomes, the advice portal. You're giving them their advice, and now they've got a portal where it's click of a button and they're on the phone with you. Click of a button, they're texting with you.
Now, the next thing that we upgraded on here was the welcome message. So we've heard this feedback for a long time from a lot of our power users. Hey, there's this default welcome message that comes out on my TCA. I'd really love to be able to edit that and say what I want there instead. So we made this available. On any presentation, you can now personalize your welcome message. So like in this case, this was a cost of waiting presentation. So I actually added a specific verbiage about this type of presentation. So when you want to edit this, just keep in mind, anytime you're preparing a new presentation inside of the advice engine, you now have this welcome message area that you can fully control. You can also set defaults for your welcome message back here in your presentation settings in the same place where you can upload default pending videos and default presentation videos. So just kind of
time out, Jacob. I want to just make sure you guys caught that. I think you should still be putting a personalized video where you say the person's name. If it's a referral from a realtor, edify the realtor, give personal advice. But because we have so many integrations now, like the HomeBot integration, where literally people click it and they get to TCA, integrations with our Simple Nexus app where a person applies online. We wanted to make it so that you could have some just generic one-off videos, but make sure you guys are updating those and personalizing those. So that is a new superpower at Mortgage Coach that we have been asked for. But with these new integrations, we really felt that it was important to the consumer experience that if they can automatically, customer can apply for a loan, get a TCA, customer from within HomeBot can say, I want to rate, get a TCA. Let's give them a TCA and let's give them a welcome video at the same time. So this is a pretty significant, pretty awesome, if I would say so myself, new superpower.
Right on. Well, thank you, Dave. And then I guess as we go back into the presentation, you'll notice the ellipses here. This is what we were talking about earlier. These are the more info callouts. So you'll notice that we've streamlined the way the tables look. They're a little bit, they've got some rounding on them. The tables look like they're a little bit more snug together, and they dynamically grow and shrink now. So a little bit better user experience in terms of the visual layout and being able to identify row by row. You'll notice these new zebra stripes in here that just help you see how the information is separated row to row. We still have our graphics in here, so you'll still get the full payment breakdown. And then you still have access to things like your closing cost detail. That'll still pop up. You can see the motor looks a little bit nicer now, a little bit cleaner, some drop shadows in there and stuff. And then you still have the reinvestment grid as well. So none of the functionality in terms of what gets shown to your borrowers has really changed. What's changed is just the visual layout of how the data is presented. Now, as Dave mentioned, we've been listening to your feedback. We are going to make some changes to the ellipses here. We know that people are used to calling this more info, and that's a good verbal cue that people like to use during their videos and during the live presentations. So we've been mocking up some new versions of this, but we will be bringing back the more info text here. We're going to change up the graphic a little bit here to kind of be a mix between the two of modernization and still keeping the old text in there. But we anticipate having that ready for everybody in a couple of days here. So we did hear the feedback. We want to make it usable for everybody, whether it's past users, new users, just out of college trying to do your first originations. You'll understand what the ellipses are, but you'll also see the more info is there. So we're trying to make sure we cater to everybody.
So I just wanted to, because we did get so much feedback on this part of the new upgrade, want to make sure that we heard you. I wanted to also make sure you knew why we were doing this. Our job is to deliver the most amazing, most wow visual experience in the mortgage experience and in any financial service. Like, we're not competing with the mortgage industry. We want to make sure you guys have the best financial advice experience, that you're beating CPAs, financial planners, real estate agents. You are the captain of the wealth team and you have the best financial experience possible. That's why we upgraded it, is to make it more clear, make it better. But adding a few things back is no problem. If you do have feedback, things that you like, let us know. I don't want to turn this post into support center. So the best way to get support is support@mortgagecoach.com email. And the best way is using our chat feature. So Jacob, real quick, just remind people how to get support and give support feedback. Do that there. But hey, I want as much interaction in this Facebook group as possible, in our YouTube channel as possible. So if it's, product ideas, You can do that here. You can also do that in our support center. So Jacob.
So you can actually start a chat from anywhere inside the advice engine. There's a little chat bubble down at the lower right corner of the screen. And this is whether you're inside a presentation or you're on the home screen. If you fire up this little chat bubble, it'll start up a little form for you. And when you message our team, let's see, I'll do it right now.
During business hours, you'll get immediate response.
And it'll show you if there's other people being helped right now, it'll show you where you're at in the queue. And then once our support team is available to help you, and you can see Robert just joined the chat. He's typing back right now. And we have live people here. It's ready to answer your questions, ready to help out. One piece of advice that I would give you is, as you're working on a presentation, when you need support help and you're chatting with one of our reps, make sure to give them the link that you're working on, because that'll just make it a lot easier for them to help you. But as Dave said, this is one way you can get in there. Another way is when you click on help and you go to our support center, that same chat bubble is on our support center. And certainly you could also submit a ticket directly from our support center if you wanted to. There's a submit ticket option up at the top right that will allow you to do that. I'm logged in as an admin, so I'm not going to see that right now. But those are the primary ways you can get in touch with our support team. Chat here. You can always email support@mortgagecoach.com, as David indicated, or you can go directly through our support center and lodge a ticket within there.
All right. I want to see if any questions have come in. So if you are watching this on Facebook Live right now and you have a question for Jacob and I, you've got our attention. We are going to wrap this up pretty quickly, but Kevin said he agrees. Thomas said great stuff. Thank you, Mr. Meister. Is there a way for scenarios to be centered? If you only have one loan, is there a way to put it to the right so it looks off? Jacob, any comments on that?
There is not currently. Right now, it scales everything to the left. But one piece of advice I would give you is never show one product. And the reason I say that is there's always a comparative model that you can use. If you're just showing say a plain FHA 3.5% down, right? That's the only thing your borrower can qualify for. Show them an option where they pay an extra point to lower the rate. Show them another option that they can use to get their closing costs paid. Show them something that they can use as a comparative point, because when you look at the charts and graphs, they really mean a lot more when two products are compared against each other, because they're showing the savings over time. They're showing the interest over time. And when you're looking at one loan, it doesn't quite have the impact. Now, with that said, we have been considering the possibility of adding presentations in the future where you could just do a single loan. But it's all napkin drawing. We'd certainly love to hear your feedback on what you would think about something like that and how you might position it. And we'd love to consider it.
Yeah, so I want to, throw my 2 cents on that. And this is part of our philosophy at Mortgage Coach and part of the magic of Mortgage Coach. Remember, we're trying to save you time. We're trying to improve your conversion, and we're trying to give the consumer the best possible experience. And we believe that the 3 essentials to making a smart mortgage decision is, number 1, options. So to Jacob's point, there's always an option, a point option, a down payment option, a program option. You could be saying, hey, here's how to pay off your loan faster option. And then also part of the Mortgage Coach philosophy is that when a family makes a mortgage decision, they should see the cost over time. So comparison over time. And then always look for strategies to either pay off the loan faster or to build wealth with real estate faster. So that's part of the fabric and the core values of Mortgage Coach, is that we're, option selling, total cost selling. It's a philosophy. It's a strategy. Let's see what else we have here. Even with the ellipsis, it won't center. So Michelle, stay tuned. Let's see what you think when we get this next round. And Michelle, thank you for the time you took to write up an email to me. Jacob, what is the best way when people want to give a product feature request? Guys, I don't mind. I'm Dave at mortgagecoach.com. I'm one of those in the trenches CEOs. That's why I interview top producers all the time. But I will tell you the fastest way to get support is support at mortgagecoach.com or through our chat. And our chat is the fastest and best way to do it. What's another way people should submit feature requests or critical feedback on new things?
So a new feature request, I would always go through our support center and use this suggest new features or vote on your peers suggestions. We get suggestions all the time coming in through here. This allows you to actually see other people's suggestions, see the votes on them. And then as we get more and more upvotes for things, we'll make them happen. So keep this in mind. This is a good place to be able to put in your recommendations. And then as Dave said, if you have feature requests, changes, bugs, anything like that, those should go to our support team. So support@mortgagecoach.com. There's also, if you just have, for some reason you can't get through our support center, you could always email ideas@mortgagecoach.com. That'll actually go to the same repository as the suggest new features does.
Great. But I tell people a lot when they send me suggestions, which I loop in ideas@.com so that all the right people at Mortgage Coach get it. And then I tell them, you know what, you should go to our support center and post it in our idea box. Because yeah, I'm CEO and founder, but when it gets on that page and other loan officers vote on it and it gets a lot of votes, it gets done. That has even more pull than myself or Jacob. Your voice has the biggest pull. All right, let's see if we have any more questions. All right, guys. Well, hopefully this was a valuable update. Hopefully you love all the new upgrades that you got from Mortgage Coach. I highly recommend you review those notes. You know what an extra loan is worth to you, and Mortgage Coach can help you generate extra loans and save you time. So spend 15, 30 minutes and go through the release notes, familiarize yourself with the new features, and adopt and create habits and skills around the new features. Jacob, anything else you want to say before we wrap this up?
Just thanks for all the feedback, everybody. There's been a lot of feedback leading up to this release, and then certainly post-release. Love hearing the positives and the negatives. Both of them are super valuable to our team. And as Dave said, we hear you. We're going to make some changes to that ellipsis so it makes it easier for you. But if you notice any other things, or if you have any other ideas, please do contact our team. Just also keep in mind, we're going to keep trying to improve things. So as we continue to modernize, things change. So if you have feedback on them, or if you have other ideas of ways to modernize, we're always happy to listen to it.
Right on, guys. And we do have some other cool announcements coming soon. So stay tuned. We're always improving, always getting better, and some very big superpowers are coming soon. Take care, everybody. Hope this was valuable for you.
Thanks for your time, everybody. Take care.